Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Comstock channel. I'm Marlon Bowling with you. Well, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be featuring a series of podcasts related to our Family Farm Masterclass that'll be coming up in February in Des Moines, Iowa. All of the guests that are featured on these podcasts will be speakers at that event. I'm going to start off this series with a discussion that I had with Johnathan Hancock. He has attended our Family Farm Masterclass in the past. Once we get into wintertime and we get into the holiday period and the year-end planning and everything, then it's going to be like meeting season time. And one thing I wanted to ask you about is you have had experience in the past with the Comstock Masterclass, the Farmers Masterclass, and you actually attended that in the past. And I wondered if you could comment on that, why you thought it was important to go check that out and what you thought. Are you going to go again?
I'm already actually signed up for this year. And not only am I going to go this year, I felt that it was important enough that this year I am going to be bringing my wife, and I'm going to be bringing my teenage children. And my wife and I are debating upon seeing if our children want to sit in on this. We're talking early teens. Dick Whitman is speaking again this year, and I have a ton of respect for Mr. Whitman. I don't even know. He kind of put out a guideline book, a how-to manual, and it has been a huge resource on our place. And it's the reason why my wife wants to attend this year is because after going through the manual that he put out, she would like to actually sit in on his lecture and have the opportunity to ask him specific questions face to face. How would you deal with this issue? How do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? We have that operator's manual that he put together, and he put it together in such a way that it was applicable to everybody. But sometimes when you have unique situations on your place, you want to talk to the author and ask and say, hey, we have this situation that kind of fell in a gray area. How would you deal with it? And, just kind of, and he's such a personable person. And, that's one of the things that I like about the Comstock Forum is everybody is very approachable. Everybody is really willing to talk. And, that's something that you don't often find in agriculture. Farmers, ranchers, everybody in agriculture, they have this tendency, you walk up to somebody like, hey, what would you do? And people are like, I don't want to say, and it's just, well, what would you do? Well, I don't know. Just do what you've been doing. Nobody actually wants to put themselves out there and then be held up for the criticism if something doesn't work, because agriculture is always a crapshoot. It doesn't matter if you've got all the best advice in the world. There's always something in agriculture, weather, politics, economy, whatever. There's always some unknown element in agriculture that can throw your plans off track. Nobody wants to put themselves out there because then they're the bad guy if things don't work out. I have enjoyed my discourse with people at Comstock, at the Masterclass, through the online resources, because people speak frankly. They say, all right, here's what has worked for us. Here's how we are doing it. They don't guarantee results, but they tell you what has been working, and they tell you why. And that's not a level of honesty or openness that I have found in very many venues. And that's one of the reasons why I feel that it's worth my time to drive 8.5 hours back to Des Moines to attend the class. And, Mr. Whitman is only part of it. I understand that, he's going to be, I think, most of the first day, and then I believe there are 4 speakers on the second day, or is it?
Multiple speakers. I'm going to be involved in the conference as well. Looking forward to everybody there. You know what? I'm curious. The one that you went to, was that your first time?
Yes, it was. That would have been
Okay,
2 years
what
ago.
what were your expectations of the conference, and then what really surprised you when you came out of it?
Honestly, my dad has been a subscriber to Comstock for probably 30, 35 years, something like that. So I've been reading the Comstock report for most of my life, uh, honestly, or at least off and on. I mean, when I was in college and drinking beer and studying political science, I didn't read a lot of Comstock, I'll be honest there. But anyway, um, I I had gotten into a cycle where I enjoyed going to conferences and learning other things and learning about the way other people did things. The biggest thing the thing that impressed me was how Comstock's master class treated farming like a business. And that's something that has always irritated me about some of my neighbors or about the way people, well, what do you do? Well, I'm a farmer. Oh, you're a farmer. Oh, isn't that cute? Shut up. I deal with more finances, more businesses, more regulations, and more technology than you think about in any given month every single day. So that's always irritated me that people don't treat farmers like we're not the most advanced business, technological, scientific group out there. Comstock totally got that. The thing that surprised me was how these people that are running very successful businesses were very personable, very approachable, wanting to talk about what they have done that has made them successful versus their regular family farm that is struggling to make ends meet. Now, it wasn't at a Comstock conference, but uh, I met a gentleman that was a professor at the University of Minnesota, and he wrote a book, Grain Marketing is Easy, It's Just Not Simple, or maybe it's the other way, it's simple, it's just not easy. I don't remember which way he titled the book, but when I met him, I heard him speak at a conference here in South Dakota, and he pointed out, statistically speaking, the difference between a family farm in bankruptcy and your multi-million-dollar farm is literally 6 cents per bushel of corn. That's over a 10-year span. That's literally all it took, is an average of 6 cents. And that's where the business side of it comes in. And that was what I was expecting to get when I went to the conference in Des Moines. And that's what I got. The part that surprised me was how approachable the speakers were, how much they actually wanted to get to know the people at the conference, wanted to hear our stories, wanted to venture their opinion on our situation, and just how approachable everybody was.
So I get the impression that your takeaway was that it was well worth the cost.
Oh, every penny. Obviously, I'm going back again this year.
Mhm.
And this year, I'm taking my family with me.
So what did you do on the conference that you attended on the Farmers Masterclass? What did they cover?
A lot of it was succession, how to pass from this generation to the next generation, which that for me was reaffirming because I'd actually taken already many of the steps that they suggested. Um, and then, that's a big part of what they talk about at these things, and the master. But the other thing that was running a family farm like a business and making the hard choices between wanting to treat family fairly, but also running a productive business. And that is something that can oftentimes be very difficult to do. And it was being able to structure it so that the rules are clear, the expectations are clear, And then also, I forget the gentleman's name. He was hilarious. I mean, I'm pretty sure the rest of the time he is a stand-up comedian. But he talked about this self-entitled attitude that people in agriculture often have, where if you have a full mouth, thank a farmer. He's like, well, do you call the people in China and thank them for your cell phone? No, you don't. Guess what? Nobody's going to thank you for growing their food either. Let's be real. So I mean, he had a real, should we be proud of what we do? Yes. But you know what? So should everybody else. If they are actually making something and being productive and contributing to society, teachers should be proud. Medical people should be proud. The people that make our jeans should be proud. The people that build our cell phones should be proud. As agriculture people, should we be proud? Yes, we should. But does that make us special? Not so much. It's just so maybe we need to get off of our high horse and realize that yes, we're doing great things and we're feeding people, but other people are also doing great things, and maybe we need to bring that into perspective and not be self-entitled and not be angry at other people that are buying our products. It's just there's so many different perspectives that are being brought into these conferences that we need to take into consideration, because if we don't step outside of that little box we live in, I mean, literally my world is from barbed wire fence to barbed wire fence, and that's my world. I barely know what's going on outside of it because I'm not a big social media guy. I don't watch any more news than I have to. I watch sports because they're on TV, so I'm pretty boxed in, but I need to be aware of what else is going on out there in order to be the most productive person I can, to be the most, aware of what the world is doing for my marketing and for my business planning. Because as much as I love the cozy idea of this is my family farm, we've been here for 100 years, that's all warm and fuzzy and cuddly, but unless I am willing to run it like a business, then it's not going to continue for another 100 years. And that's what I feel that I get from conferences like the one that's being held in February. We've got one coming up in South Dakota in December. If you don't put yourself out there and try to educate yourself and broaden your perspective, you're going to get left behind because technology changes, markets change, political scenes change. So unless you are making an effort to get out there and broaden your horizon, when the markets change because of all the other things, you're not going to know why, and you're going to get left in the dust.
Over the decades, I've had a chance to take part in numerous marketing seminars. And the thing that always struck me was that a lot of people, you talked about the marketing skills and you talked about running it like a business, the farm operation like a business, and that's very important. But it's so hard for people to take the emotion out of their marketing. And the ones that are able to do that are usually the most successful. If you do it based on a solid plan and you want to do it for the sake of locking in a profit, however you have to do it, and it may not be the top of the market, but you can guarantee that you can operate another year. And I always thought that was really important for people to really focus on that aspect of it.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I make the joke all the time, and I make it a joke, but it's really not a joke. It's, we paid for the cost of planting. We paid for the cost of harvesting. We paid for the fertilizer and the herbicide. I guess we get to play again next year. That's, it's that break even point. You're like, well, I guess we get to try again. You know,
Said earlier, you said we always operate on a razor's edge on the margin of just a few cents of making it successful or not. And my point always was that it's easier to market at the right time and get those extra cents than it is to get that much percentage of extra yield. I mean, everybody's trying to crank out as much as they can the way it is, but just paying attention to being a good marketer, that can mean all the difference in the world. And it just takes a little bit of confidence and a little bit of studying.
it takes a lot of confidence in studying, and I like to rely on a couple people that seem to have their finger on the pulse of the marketing strategies. I have a couple of grain buyers that I have built relationships with over the years. I actually have a commodities broker that you probably are, well, that you probably know. It's through RJO. No, that's something that my dad always told me is there's certain people you need to know in your life, but there's a couple people that you need to be on a first name basis with. And his examples of people you need to be on a first name basis with are your banker, your accountant, your tax man, your commodities broker, and and I added to the list my attorney. But you got to have those professionals that you build a relationship with and people that you trust, and it's getting to see into other people's business operations that help you understand where you need to invest your time, your knowledge, your resources. And that's why I see the value in going to conferences, going to classes, stuff like that is just the getting an opportunity to take on somebody else's perspective.
Well, Johnathan, it's great to catch up with you, and I'm glad you're coming down the downhill stretch here on harvest. Stay safe out there. Thanks for the update. And you know what? I really look forward to meeting you at the Farmers Masterclass coming up in Des Moines in February. And we look forward to talking with everybody else that will be there in attendance as well. It'll be a great sharing of ideas, and we really look forward to it. So thanks again. All the best to you. You guys have a great winter, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Thank you, Marlon. It was very nice visiting with you today, and I look forward to meeting you in person at Social Hour.
Awesome. That's Johnathan talking with us, and he is with Handcock Farms. He is in South Dakota, and we'll see him in February. For producer Brianne Hendrickson, I'm Marlon Bowling, and we'll catch you next time here on the Comstock Channel. Futures trading involves risk. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results.